So my mother is in her mid-80s and she lives on a very nice park home in Gloucestershire. Now, as you know, most of the people that live on park homes are of an age, generally in their 60s, 70s and 80s and beyond. And my mum's park home is no exception. As I say, she's in the mid-80s. Most of her friends on the park are in their mid-70s and above, some in their 60s, some in their 90s. So they're, of an age. And when the COVID-19 news broke back in March, she was at her wit's end, thinking that if she didn't stay in isolation for months, that she would die. Because she was told, based on the figures coming out of China, that it was a massive pandemic. The BBC News were telling her and me and you to stay indoors and do what Boris told us and Matt Hancock. Oh, by the way, it's Dopey Matt Hancock. That's his real name, by the way. Dopey Matt Hancock. Do what they all told us to do, or we'd all die. I speak to my mum 3 or 4 times a week and have been doing so all through this since March. And I regularly ask her, because she talks to all of her neighbours, of course, and her friends about this. And I've asked her continually, how many people do you know that have died from this? Bear in mind that she's of an age, and so are her friends, and her brothers and sisters and whatever, my aunties and uncles. No one. She started to ask all of her neighbours, how many people do you know that have died or been seriously ill from COVID-19? Bear in mind, they've all got their own set of friends, their own set of family, etc. And not one of them that she's spoken to, loads of them on her park, know anybody that's been seriously ill or died from COVID-19. In fact, not one of them knows a single person that's actually been ill from it. What does that tell you? They're the prime age group, apparently, that should be dropping like flies, but none of them would know anything about it if it weren't for watching the TV news or turning the radio on. I said to my mum, if you didn't have a TV or radio, and did any of your neighbours, you lot wouldn't know anything about this, would you? She said, no, we wouldn't know anything about it, because no one knows anyone that's had it. I'm a decorator. I ask all my customers if they know anyone that's been seriously ill or died from it. To date, over the past 7 or 8 months, not a single person that I've worked for or it's come into their home that I've asked, there's a single person that's died from COVID-19. What does that tell you? We heard last week on the news that 1 million people have died worldwide from COVID-19 or have had it on their written on their death certificates. Well, that's 1 person in 8,000 maximum of the world population. So even despite massaging the figures upwards, for some reason that's being done by the governments of the world. Despite that, they can only still say that 1 person in 8,000 of the world's population is dying from the biggest disease, the biggest threat ever known to mankind. What does that tell you? I don't know. I don't know what any of it means, to be honest with you. But if I don't know anybody that's died from it, nor does my mum or her friends, or my customers, and anybody else that I speak to knows anybody that died from it or was even seriously ill from it, what does that tell you? We should be dropping like flies. And now they're saying, yeah, you might not know anyone that's died from it, but if you don't do this, then you will all die. That's what they told us 6, 7, 8 months ago. They're doing it all over again. In fact, they're making it worse because they're now saying, possibly, we should have to wear masks outside, not just in shops and God knows where. They're ramping it up because they know that so far, it's not been as bad as they said it would be. If COVID-19 has got a job, and its job is to kill us all, and it's managed to kill 1 person in 8,000, it's crap at its job. Isn't it? Anyway, what do I know? Bye.